Don't mute my mic, son. They can't hold me back. Here we go again. You ready? I don't know if you're ready or not. What's good, y'all? How y'all doing? What's happening? What's happening? Hold on. Let me go ahead and welcome y'all to the show. Here we go. You understand? You understand? All right. All right. So apparently, Kendrick has just dropped the album. All right. He put something out, and people are starting to react. People are starting to react. So I'm going to go through I'm going to go through these reactions on Twitter, right? And we're going to go through this pattern of what we see, right? And then we're going to go to these comments and we're going to have a quick conversation. Now, I have not heard it yet. I hope it's good, but I got a feeling. I hope it's good. I hope it's good. All right, I'm optimistic, but I have a strong suspicion that the shit might going to be mid. But I'm optimistic though. I'm optimistic. Nah, man, listen, I'm busting y'all chops, man. You Kendrick fans out there. I'm still a Kendrick fan too, but y'all, this is weird. This is weird. So what we're gonna be getting into in this video is about if you are a black person in the community, there's been times where you felt like you were crazy or you felt like you were the only one who maybe had a certain opinion or who made an observation. And what we got to kind of realize sometimes is that the observation you're making, you may be the only one who sees it or the only one who sees an issue and sees the issue to the point where you want to correct it. How about that? You know? So you have to understand, first of all, as you get older, you're going to have to outgrow validation in your ideas and also your concept of right from wrong and really just make it a point to work on it. You understand? I mean, like for real. Hold on. Never had my back. I know that's random, but I gotta kind of, you know, I mean, give you a little variation and whatnot. So anywho, so I want to go ahead and just go through these this outrageousness. So all right, so the first one, damn, it's a lot of this shit. So here's one that says Drake after hearing Kendrick Lamar dropped album of the year, and it's a dog doing this. I'm not sure what this means, but I guess he's a sad puppy. Me after hearing the first 5 seconds of Kendrick Lamar's GNX.
Classic. I ain't gonna say it again. It's a classic. I'm not classic. Look, I don't know what else you talking about. Talking about, oh, how is it a classic? It just came out. You can listen to it. Then go to sleep, wake up, listen to it again. It's a classic. I ain't gonna say it again. It's a classic. I'm not classic. Look, I don't know what else you talking about. Talking about, oh, how.
Somebody wrote Kendrick Lamar is the best rapper alive. Period. Kendrick saying he hoped Snoop was off edibles when he reposted Drake telling me freestyle is killing me. Here's a meme of Drake at a game on his phone, and it says Drake when he sees Heart Part 6 is trending because Kendrick Lamar dropped it on GNX and ignored his version. Another one says Drake waking up his ghostwriters after Kendrick Lamar dropped Heart Part 6 on G and X. I'm not sure what this means exactly, but it just says Drake fans, we chilling as fuck. Okay. So I saw a few comments here that I thought were really interesting. And then we'll get into the conversation about when you have to think independently and have to think for yourself. So someone wrote, so let me see. Someone says, can we ever appreciate Kendrick without the mention of Drake anywhere, anytime? Got 103 replies. Certified Street Ninja says the album is straight trash, but y'all won't say that because y'all are on his D. Pause. A girl writes from Trap Paradise, his music just don't do it for me. Someone else writes, the entire album is relying on the names of other rappers to do well, and y'all love it because y'all love drama. Someone else says, Drake don't give a F, and I don't either. Somebody wrote, I played song number 1 27 times before I continue with the rest of the album. Kendrick Snap, whole thing fire. Somebody else wrote, to be honest, it's a 3 out of 10. Drake helped another dude's career. Kendrick just opened his mouth. Someone give him a Grammy right now. Y'all swear everything this man does is so profound and amazing. Shut up. Somebody else writes, y'all still D-riding at this point. And somebody else wrote, man, ain't no one bumping Kendrick Lamar. Somebody else wrote, album of the year is a stretch. So, like I told y'all before, we are coming up on the precipice of a black renaissance. Black people are starting to change their mind. These comment sections are data. The dust is starting to settle from this whole thing, and people are starting to kind of think of these things in more so in like morality, in terms like, all right, do I have this opinion just because I have certain feelings about you? Or is my opinion based off of things that are actually factual? Because again, like I always say, because like being a part of battle rap made me understand biases and made me more aware of your own biases. Like for example, when you create something, it's like your child. All right, like you're not going to ever judge your child the way that someone else would. You're going to have more love and patience and affection for something that comes from you. You know what I mean? It's hard for you to see that child the way that other people who didn't create that child sees it, right? So, you have to remove that bias in order to be a better creator. So you can start saying, all right, you know what? Is this actually good? Is this actually enjoyable? All right. Hope y'all get some food from this. You know what I'm saying? Because listen,
I've always respected your hairline.
I hope the sound is good, man. Because I've been listening to this audio. It's always been pissing me off. I ain't gonna hold you. Hold on, let me make sure I'm on the right mic. Nope, I am not on the right mic. Sorry, y'all. Sorry, guys. All right, so I am on the right mic now. So, anywho, I've touched on this a whole bunch of times in terms of what this beef showed, but I also wanted to say that it's very much, it's really interesting. Like, so when we saw the actual statistics for how many black people voted for Kamala Harris, so for the most part, Kamala Harris still had a majority of the black vote. You know what I mean? So pretty much again, we don't have it came down to our vote really just doesn't matter as much anymore anyway, because we don't have the numbers. Like we're not reproducing them like the way we need to be. We're just not. We're still a minority in the country after being here for 400 years. Hector and them only been coming. I don't know when they first started coming because my grandmother, I always remember her saying that when she was growing up, she never seen Hispanic people before. She thought they were white people, because like depending, because I guess she was from Brooklyn too. So it's interesting how that happens, right? And how just how the country can change, right? So anywho, I remember when I first learned that Kamala Harris wasn't like actually black and that she identified as an Asian American woman. Because again, if you were Asian, again, if you identify as black, I mean, like you would be introduced as African American of African American and Asian heritage or something like that. That will be acknowledged. You know what I mean? But if she was always identifying as an Asian American, how all of it, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? So I bring that up because throughout my life, I've had these experiences, especially like recently, like being around people who wasn't really doing as well as me. You know what I mean? And I started kind of really picking up on, y'all all kind of have these same behaviors, like these same like emotional behaviors, you know, where like you like you practice willful ignorance because you don't want to concede to the fact that whatever I'm saying makes sense or whatever I'm saying is going to work or is working. You know what I mean? And that's a low vibrational behavior because we have to always have a seeking spirit when it comes to life in general, right? And more useful information. Got to always have that. Got to, you know what I mean?
Always respected your hairline.
For real. So it's interesting because I mean, like I've experienced this in life too, where like people sometimes want to get a rise out of you. Sometimes people want you to feel like shit. You know what I mean? And it's crazy, like for the most part, how everything Kendrick does, everything he's done this year, has for the most part only been interesting or engaging because he was talking to Drake. And I will reiterate for people who don't know their history. Kendrick is the first rapper to receive the Drake stimulus package. In terms of like they got on the Drake song, right? Or had a Drake feature. Then after that, they really took off. Kendrick's career took off after that. That I think it was the Club Paradise tour, and him having a whole song on Take Care. And also, Kendrick is actually like low key dissing Drake on the song, and Drake still put it up. And not only that, back then their like vocal inflections were very similar. So when I first heard this shit, I thought it was Drake. You know what I'm saying? Very interesting. But anywho, and no shade to Kendrick. Also, one of Kendrick's biggest records, Poetic Justice. First of all, the most sonically pleasing record on the album is probably Poetic Justice. You know what I'm saying? And that's a Drake record. You understand? So, in the real world, when someone gives you an opportunity that big, or when someone gives you something, and then all these other positive things come from that or come after that, that means that whatever that person did probably helped you. Just the fact that when you addressing this man, you acting like that never happened is crazy. That say a lot about him. Because I could never talk about somebody who put me on the way that the way that Kendrick was coming at Drake. Anyway, so I've had recent experiences where like I had to realize like, yo, where my honor and integrity is at is different from y'all. And I can't waste too much more energy on waiting for you to catch up. Or allowing you to not appreciate the work. Don't ever disrespect the work. You understand? So anyway, I think that's all I really have for that. I thought it was really interesting. And I'm sorry, you know what? So I'm gonna touch on is how winners are antagonized. And it's crazy how all the best men to ever do anything in the world always have like a bunch of people who say that they ain't shit, who say that they suck, they're trash. Whoever's the greatest basketball player, there are millions of people who think he's terrible. Whoever's the greatest at anything, whoever's leading, it's always a bunch of people who are always going to be naysayers and people who are going to be detractors and people who are going to be against you and speak out against you. And it doesn't matter. That's just a part of life. People are entitled to having an opinion. You know what I mean? But it's interesting. It's like it's hard to explain this shit because, like, yo, if you've never really been a winner, then you wouldn't really be able to really relate to like jealousy. Or relate to people being treated, basically like unfair treatment. That's unprovoked. You know what I'm saying? So so to a certain degree, people always want to see a great man defeated, or they want to see your destruction. And the run that Drake has had is damn near like he's been running on like a cheat code for all these years. Don't get me wrong. I can't really say. I think this is the most excited I've been, like, as far as like seeing a Drake record drop and clicking. You know what I mean? In a while, I ain't gonna hold you. You know what I mean? But Drake has been putting in work this whole time, and Drake has been putting in joints that people enjoy and people was rocking with. You know what I'm saying? So we're not gonna say and act like, you know, Drake ain't been putting in work and been super duper active, and again, and contributing to the game. But and it also kind of goes back to this whole thing with the Cooley no Fugazi thing. So I've been arguing with guys in my comments that a part of why you guys are milking this thing with Cooley for no Fugazi is because he physically is what women be describing. All right, it is what it is. When guys see men that they can't really compete with physically, you know, sometimes it make you insecure because I'm looking at the men who was getting the most, I can't say butt hurt, but just really into it. You know what I'm saying? They're all like really unattractive men. The men that we know that women don't find attractive. So when it's that big of a gap between you and another man, all men don't deal with that too good. You know what I'm saying? All men they can't feel like secure in that, you know. And like, yo, that's just how people treat attractive people to begin with. You know what I'm saying? When you think about it, people are very resentful of attractive people. You know what I mean? Because it's hard to deal with being around an attractive person. You know what I mean? And you know, people act weird. You know, all that shit. So there's that. So all right, Kendrick, I'm gonna give you a shot here. I hope it's good. I'm gonna check it out tonight and everything. I'm gonna come back with my findings and everything. But yeah, man, I think black people are starting to kind of like think about how that whole thing went and how people were acting and everything. I think a lot of people are like changing their mind about the outcome of that whole thing. Because for the most part, a big part of why I think people celebrated the whole thing was because people wanted to see Kendrick matter again. You know what I mean? But we got to realize that a lot of us are older now, and Kendrick is older. I mean, like he's almost 40 years old, which is not bad. You know what I'm saying? I'm 37. But no, it's later in life, you know, and people have a nostalgia for for I guess what he used to be and everything. And I think to a certain degree, I think we just have to admit that like we really buy into this whole character, but we can't act like Kendrick has really done anything in real life to make you feel like he's this really honorable, good, he's this really good dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, or I've never really heard a story about something really nice that Kendrick has done. And I'm not saying he doesn't do anything nice for anyone ever. I'm just saying that, like, you're not really an actual like activist. You don't actually build anything or really do anything that people can talk about or report on. You know what I mean? Like, and you know, and another thing too is when people, how can I put it? There's this thing people do where people act like when people point out that no one bumps Kendrick, I'm sorry, when people point out that no one bumps Kendrick's music, meaning that they play in their car and enjoy it on a regular basis, someone also always comes along and talks about basically how you're not on the same wavelength, you don't have the maturity, you're not basically you're too much of an idiot, or you're too stupid to get it. You know what I mean? And which is fine, because that's how people argue about art. You know what I mean? Like, it's art, it's a subjective thing, right? But to a certain degree, when it comes to music, that it's not no. We know when something, like, what makes something hot is the fact that it's enjoyable. Okay, like, nah, don't get me wrong. Like, sometimes very few records have to grow on you like that if they're good records. Good music is good music. What people are saying is that, yo, like, this don't feel. Like, matter of fact, that's what it was. Messing around the big steppers, it just didn't feel good. It didn't feel good at all. I'm like, it just didn't like no more, like, aside from like the 4 songs that I like the one that sounded like a house record, was mostly singing. the N95 joint, I like that record. I like Rich Spirit. Like I think it was something with the one that had Sampha on it. I thought that was a good one. But the rest of it was like, oh, it was just like, you know. I mean, it's art. It was artistic. We make artistic albums. So, yeah, man. So that's all I got for that, man. Let me go ahead and take us to the next subject. Peace to the God, King Kai. It said, why did King Kai have a car when his planet had a diameter of 63 meters? Somebody wrote, flexing don't gotta make sense. So I'm talking about. Yo, this comment is crazy. It just says, hold on. It says, my neighbor has a Rolls Royce with no engine in his front yard. He just sits in it and smokes cigars. That's hard. All right.